Bang. And we are live. Thanks for tuning in to the Den Debate. I think this is the third or fourth instalment of the season. Kenny and Joe, join us. Thanks for joining us, boys. How we been?
Good, all good. Evening, everyone.
Joe, fresh off the back of about 5 holidays.
Back to business.
And Ken off the back of teaching or trying to coach 10-year-olds how to play football. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going really well, actually. 6 out of 6 wins.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, I'll tell you what, mate, if all this managerial merry-go-round continues, I think it looks like Mowbray's going to Sunderland. We was hoping he might have been Rowett and you could have been in there.
I'll give it a go, that's for sure.
We could have been saying Kenny out instead of fucking Rowett out.
You would be, I can tell you that.
86 people in the live stream. I think the last one we did about 150 as soon as the music ended, and the time before over 200. So
I think they heard I was coming back tonight. That's why.
It's fair to say that no, I don't think it's you, Joe. I think it's the pre-season and early season hype is starting to dwindle already, especially off the back of 3 games now without a win, 1 point out of 3. But it's early days yet, Joe. Me and you were just saying that, weren't we?
Yeah, I think it's hard to talk about this part of the season, really, and I think it's too early to make any sort. Everyone's beating everyone at the minute. You can't. It's hard to pinpoint anything.
I think that, and I did say that, I never really thought that Rowett was a man for the job, and I've at points wanted him, not to be in charge, but I still think we need time to gel, and I'm not saying he will turn it round, but I think it could turn it round. So I think it's early season, but Ken, I'm pretty sure you're already decided on what you want, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I've been for 2 seasons Rowett out. I've got nothing against the guy anymore at all. It's just his style of play, his decision making. The problem is I don't think you can ever take that away from him. And I've always said this: you could have Lionel Messi, Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva in the middle, whoever it is. The way he plays is far too defensive for any team. Hence the reason he's never really been a successful manager. And I'll say it again because I mean it even more so than last year. we have the squad this season to get into the top 6. And there shouldn't be any excuses for us not to. However, I think I said to you, Joe, yesterday, I'll be surprised if we're in the top half of the table this season.
Yeah, however, you did just say that you feel we've got the players. So that means that you think that Rowett's recruited well. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
You think he's recruited well. You just don't think that he's got the tactical nous. Chris Brown straight in. This definitely will be a talking point tonight, Chris, because I don't think it will. Me and Kenny were booked in and we wanted Joe in, but he's been away for a few weeks. So you'll see both sides of the coin tonight. And me and Joe are actually singing from the same page. I'm like Bradshaw and the phobia at the minute. But look, there's been 3 games, boys, since we got into, or since we dipped our toe into the last end debate. So we've got to wind it back a bit to start off with, and then we'll go through the last 3 games. We'll look ahead to Burnley tomorrow, next upcoming fixtures, etc., etc. So winding it back, we did it a couple of days before the Swansea game. That was fucking madness, Joe, wasn't it?
Oh, mate. Weren't there, unfortunately, but managed to watch it at home. Honestly, the scenes in the O'Mara household when we got that equaliser, it was incredible. That feels like a win. But when you look at it, I think it's massive get out of jail there, isn't it? Don't get me wrong. I just remember when that Vogelsammer come on in that game. And that's an interesting talking point because that's when we started to look a bit more lively. He hit the bar when he come on, didn't he? But yeah, what a way to get a point out of that. Two late own goals. But yeah, we've done it against Coventry as well. The comeback. Yeah, I was buzzing after that, and then we go on to went on to Norwich, didn't we?
Yeah, the Swansea game. I think their patience is wearing thin a bit. Their fan base with their manager. And I don't think they'd had a win at that point. And then, so we did get the get out of jail card. It's always a good point up there, don't get me wrong, but I think they went and lost 2-0 at home the following game to Luton. Yeah. And then after that, I think they've lost again the weekend to Middlesbrough. So was it a good point, Ken, in the circumstances, or are we giving ourselves a massive uphill battle? Well, we are giving ourselves a massive uphill battle going behind. Why do you think the defence has started to falter a little bit now under Rowett?
I'd imagine that they probably do the same thing over and over again in training, and I think sometimes when you're doing things in training, obviously if you keep doing it all the time, you will get very, very good at it. However, once it becomes monotonous, it gets boring, and sometimes you don't believe in it as much. But I think actually teams, I don't think our defence has got worse. I just think teams have learned how to look. You're not going to come against our 3 centre backs and ping balls into the box and try and you get headers. The way around our big mountain centre backs that we've got is to pop the ball around us, and that's what they're starting to do. So I don't think our defence has got worse. I just think other teams have learned how to attack against them.
Yeah, and
play around it.
Yeah, it's a good point. And also, I say other teams have improved. We've improved. You know, I've covered this in a few recent videos that we, you know, people going, I announced promotion. And I said, look, we've got 4 players in, or 4, 5, 6 players. But Phobie was a returning one. 2 of them are loanees from Leeds. One of them's never played in the Championship before. And another signing's never played in England before. So was our recruitment that good, Joe, on reflection, looking at it in comparison to other teams? And like Kenny said, is that maybe why now? No, they're not doing anything different to they wasn't previous. Cooper, Hutchinson, Murray Wallace, Creswell, whoever. But do you feel other teams are starting to pull away from us a bit?
Yeah, it's a strange one because on paper, don't get me wrong, some of them signings do sound exciting. And, you know, that the whole sort of Fleming thing was linked with him back in January, and the likes of Forest were linked with him as well. So when he's come in, he's had a lot of hype. Don't get me wrong, I thought, yeah, happy with that signing. But at the same time, you don't know what he's going to be like in this league. Don't get me wrong, he played in the top flight in the Dutch league. But it's too early. You don't know how these players are going to adapt to English football. And Vogelsammer as well, had no idea who the guy was when we signed him. So we've still got a lot to see from him. But the likes of Mafobi, I was happy we re-signed him. He kicked on towards the end of last season. And Honeyman's another one. From what I hear, one of Hull's better or even best players. So I thought that was a good signing. And then I also heard during pre-season a lot of good things about these Leeds players. Even some Leeds fans I've met on holiday and stuff have said very good things about these players. Between them, they started a few Premier League games last season, but for whatever reason, still early. Hasn't really happened for Cresswell yet, has it? And then all of a sudden he's out of the team. Shackleton, so far, I'm yet to sort of see anything from him. Don't really know what he offers at the minute. But on the flip side, as I say, it's early days. There's a lot of still got a lot of time. Team's got to gel, and I don't think Rowett sort of figured out his best 11 yet.
No, but I think that will take time. We'll get on to that. But Joe just said the main difference in defence last season compared to this is Cooper would play left, Hutch middle, and Ballard right. And this season, Cooper's been playing central, which he can't play. I think as well, Joe. I think you're right in a sense as well. And I think that Cooper was taking a lot of bullets for Cresswell in the early part of the season. I think that's why Rowett reverted back to that back three. I would go with that back three. What would be your preferred? I know you wouldn't play three at the back, Ken, but what would be your preferred three?
It would 100% be Wallace, Cooper, and Hutch. I am on the bandwagon of not feeling very comfortable with Cooper. I don't know why, but for some reason he scares the life out of me at the moment.
Yeah, look, but I don't agree. But a lot of people are saying it, so it must be something in it, mustn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I'm not like I don't want Cooper in my team because I do want him in the team, and I don't necessarily agree with the suggestion of having him dropped. However, I think there's something to be said about what Mr. Holloway just said. Just that slight position change could be why he's a little bit edgy. He scares me for some reason. I don't know why. But obviously he's someone that's got to be in the squad, in my opinion. So sorry, the answer to your question is Hutch, Cooper, and Wallace. Yeah,
a few people saying the same thing. The thing I want to go back to as well, Joe, you said about Vogelsammer. He looked decent, didn't he, when he come on in 2 games? Yeah,
he has. When he's been brought off the bench, a lot of people saying he should be given a start, but you don't know how far he is off full match fitness. So we've got time to see the best of him.
So we shipped 2 against Coventry, and then we shipped 2 against Swansea. Both times coming from behind and actually getting 4 points out of those games. But Norwich was going to be a different kettle of fish. And I thought we looked good at Norwich for long periods. I know, Joe, you didn't see that one particularly because you was on holiday trying to watch it underneath the table while I was having a meal with people.
Yeah, tried to catch a second half. I had a stream up on my phone on my lap while I'm at a formal dinner with like 14 people. So, yeah, I didn't really see it fully, so I can't really comment too much on that one, unfortunately.
This one for me was a little bit of a flip. I thought we'd done all right in the first half and looked comfortable. I just think the class of this guy, Josh Sargent, I think that just showed through in the second half. But again, change it. And again, 2 goals conceded. That's 6 in 3 games at this point. What did you make of the Norwich game, Ken?
Yeah, I didn't really have any complaints, to be honest. I think going to Norwich after having maybe only a 2-day break? A lot of that was travelling. Going to a team that's probably going to go back up into the Premier League next season. I was more upset with the Swansea draw and the Coventry win, to be honest, than what I was the Norwich loss.
Well, even though we got points, I know what you mean.
Yeah, just going back to that Swansea and Coventry game is papering over the cracks, Dan. We managed to get a draw at Swansea because they scored 2 own goals, papering over the cracks. And we managed to beat Coventry because they went down to 10 men. All these things always seem to happen just at the right time to sort of help Mr. Rowett out, in my opinion. But going to Norwich on a Friday night after playing Swansea away on a Tuesday night and losing 2-0 and putting in the performance that they did to an extent, I didn't really have any problems with it. You know, it is what it is. It's a 2-0 loss against probably top of the league.
Yeah, I don't know, but the Swansea one for me, at the time I thought it was a bad performance. And then looking back, you know, Billy Mitchell at the bar in the game, Vogel-Sammer at the bar in the game. And the goals we scored, I was just saying to Joe off air, they're goals that have come from positions that we don't exploit enough. And I might be going ahead a little bit here, but whipping them balls across the face of the box, you know, is what caused them to turn the ball into their own net. A really good one in from Danny Mack, fed by Honeyman. And then Scott Malone, whether he meant that one on his right foot or not. But they're, you know, you can only put the balls in the positions, can't you? And then you see where you go from there. You get your rewards. Steve Leach just today said, no problems with the Norwich performance. Got done by one good goal and one mistake, but we played okay. I agree. And that mistake obviously was, in my opinion, Scott Malone. Stephen Ball says he's back free. Will be Cooper Hutchinson and Leonard. That would, you know, it will definitely be debatable. However, Steve, I don't know if you don't know, mate, but Ryan Leonard injured his hamstring. I heard it wasn't a bad one. And then turns out he's out for about 3 months, torn his hamstring. Let's talk about Ryan Leonard while we're on the basis, because I remember he came to the club. He wasn't particularly loved by us. He was sold to us by Neil Harris as a box-to-box midfielder. I found him and Tunnicliffe very mundane, very laboured when they're running, didn't really get forward, didn't really get back. Well, Tunnicliffe definitely got back and just sat back, didn't he? A little bit of a Ryan Woods Mark 1. But and then under Rowett, I said he's played his best football, but Rowett refuses to accept he's a centre midfielder. I think he's a right wing back or a centre back, and he's adapted to centre back well. But I did say this to you boys, in the group. I said he's 30 years old now, and he's had 2 quite lengthy injuries over the last 2 seasons. Now 2 injuries becomes 3, and it is a blow-job, isn't it? Especially with his recent form.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long's he got left on his contract? You know, is it up at the end of the season or?
I think he signed the new one. He got a new 2-year deal the year before, just before Bradshaw did. So I think he's probably still got this year and another one to run. But
yeah, see the thing with Leonard, when he first signed that first season, he's obviously our record signing, so you're expecting big things out of him. But I was one of his biggest critics, and I think he was one of the worst players we've ever had in his first season. And I look back to that day. Remember, you'd done a stream on Millwall's worst ever 11 of all time. Yeah. And Leonard actually got in that, didn't he? Everyone voted for him to be in it. Yeah, and then, but the season after, I can't remember if it's season after, the one after that, don't get me wrong, as I say, I was his biggest critic, but he come on leaps and bounds and he turned into one of our better players. He looked good sort of going forward when he was playing a bit higher up. But with all these injuries now, as much as I've really grown to sort of really like him, I think the likes of him and Bennett now, I think you just got to cut your losses with them. If this is going to keep happening, it's like, come on, you get excited thinking, oh, they're near back to first team action. But that's another thing. We want to see him in centre midfield, sort of picking up the ball, driving forward a bit. That's what he looked good at a couple of seasons ago. But Rowett wants to play him, I don't know, right back, centre back, left back, wherever else apart from centre mid.
Is that stubbornness, Ken? I know the answer. I don't really know. I'm asking this question. Ken, is it stubbornness or is it Rowett's just strong in his beliefs? Because he will not accept that Ryan Leonard is a centre midfielder. As it happens now, he's out. And as Charles rightly says, questioning the number of injuries that we're getting in training. I've actually asked this question. Is it the players or is it the physio? And apparently, he don't fucking say got anything. I got a fucking nosebleed last. Oh, fucking go for a scan. Do you know what I mean? Like this, it's just modern day football, isn't it, I suppose, Ken? But yeah, Leonard, I know you're a big fan of, and he's going to be, looking like it'll be a miss because he come into the team and started to look like he was making one of those centre back places his own. I
think that, I've always said this. I personally, in my opinion, Leonard is the best midfielder that we've got in the team. And I also. There was a time, and I can't remember when it was. I was pretty sure it was this season that he did have a little 10-minute stint in the middle with Mitchell and Saville. They played as a 3 in the midfield, and it looked so exciting. It looked energetic, exciting, creative, and it was almost like well, that's never happening again. Look how good that's gone. That's that's never going to happen again. But I was very happy with Leonard just in the squad, because if he's at centre back, he's going to do a job. And look what he done against Swansea. If he's right wing back, he's going to do a job. So I was happy for him to be in the team. But if he could have, he should be in midfield, Leonard, in my opinion.
100%.
Dave Clark, legend. Thanks for your donation, mate. Very much. In a minute, we got to get fucking Ryan Leonard fit. She says, Rowett defender. I covered this in my video the other day. Rowett defender, Robinson defender, Fitzgerald defender, Barrett defender. Where's the attacking coach at the club? Obvious where the problem lies. Yeah. So whether it's Leonard at the back or Murray Wallace or Cooper, as a whole, for the last 3 seasons under Rowett, defending's not been the issue, is it? And scoring goals and creating chances at the other end of the pitch has been. Do you think we benefit from a striker's coach's input at the club, boys? Does seem like we're very defence-minded, not just on the pitch, but
100%. We need
definitely.
It.
I think that's our weakest point at the minute, and I'm not blaming these strikers. I've had arguments about this the other day. We just, even points last season, especially the first half of the season, I just don't see what we're trying to do going forward. We're not. Yeah. But then again, going back to that Swansea game, what I would argue is the 2 goals we got, fair enough, own goals, but they come from getting behind the defenders, the wing backs, putting the balls across the box. And whether it's an own goal or we score, if you put balls into that area, someone touches it, whether it's them or us, it's going in the back of the net. And we haven't done that enough. But the 2 times we have done it, it's pulled off. But like as I say, we're not seeing enough of that. We didn't see that Saturday.
Do you know why we don't, Joe?
Go on.
Because we're too defensive. And our right wing backs and our left wing backs are not allowed to get that far down the pitch in order to cross them balls in.
But I don't know what's changed, because I was saying this the other day. Last season, especially second half of last season, when we looked at our best was, I think it was at points where we had sort of 3 up top. You had a Phobia in the middle on his own, and you had Jed one side. I can't remember if it was Bennett or whoever else, but 3 going forward. And you used to see Danny McNamara overlap with Jed. And whoever we had, Murray Wallace or whether it was Scott Malone, overlapping with Bennett as well. And that's where we looked most dangerous, when we started doing that. Bombing forward, the wing backs are overlapping, getting the ball across the box, getting behind the defenders. And that's where the goals come. But this season, other than those 2 Swansea own goals, haven't seen it, didn't see it at all on Saturday, which was very frustrating. But I'd honestly just say that's what we need to do. They need to just bomb forward, or if they're not being allowed to go forward enough, bring back the 3 up top system. Bury one side and whoever the other side. I don't know.
I think he might revert to that tomorrow. Steve Morrison says all these defensive coaches and our defence is getting worse. Honestly, I'm not, I don't want to dig a youngster out, but I think I put a lot of that at the feet of Creswell. I know he had a fucking brilliant game, first game, and I was calling him Champagne Charlie Creswell, but like I say, I fucking present a channel and I try and make it as exciting and, if I can, as interesting as possible. Since then, I think he's been horrendous, and I think we didn't look as bad defensively. We got caught a couple of times going forward Saturday, like caught short at the back, but I definitely feel that the 3 we've got are the way to go. And I know Ballard got injured playing for Sunderland, but I would have liked to see us break the bank and get him. He may not have got injured if he was with us. You know what I mean? It's a different game, different situation. It wasn't his knee. It was his, what was it? His heel or something like that, wasn't he? Ankle. He's done his ankles out long term. But so Connor's having a bit with someone in the group in the comments, I think. Brian Rose said, I said the other day, Sheringham, why let's not be ambitious and get somebody like Sheringham. I don't know. I think Rowett's quite set in his ways, and I always say he's got Scott Malone fever and he's his secret love child, but I think he is starting to be that way with a phobia. But at the same time, I said to Kenny on the phone earlier, we get into it a bit early, but I don't think a phobia is brilliant, but he scored the goals he scored last season. Charles is saying this. I mean, look, we discuss this all the time to the point where I've stopped saying it because I don't think Rowett will change the formation. But a flat back 4, I think, would make us a lot more flat, but make us a lot more solid as well in shape. I'm not fussed about Connor's texting the group now, sorry. I'm not fussed about 5 at the back. I'm not overly confident it works for us, but Rowett seems to stick with it. I said in my thing the other day, for me, the problem is the wing backs. I've had a good think about it. I like Danny Mack, not so much Scott Malone, but the amount of times they get down the wing, like you said, Joe, they're not overlapping as much. But even when they do, how many times do you think Danny Mack hits his target from a cross? 3 out of 10?
Yeah, probably that.
What do you reckon, Ken? Do you reckon that's fair?
Yeah, he's just another Romeo, really, isn't he?
This is the thing. If we're solely reliant on that to create chances, because we have no idea how to go through the middle, and I'm guessing this is why he's now trying to revert to a 10. And in his defence, I think he's got Fleming to play in that 10 when he's going to be fit. But it's knowing, well, okay, now you've got the players, and you've got to find the patterns of play and have the tactics to still pick teams apart through the middle. Because at the minute, I think you'll both agree, it's so frustrating. Sideways, along the touchline, back along the touchline, backwards, across the back three, back to the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean?
See, was part of my argument with the whole Afobe thing, everyone getting on his back on Saturday. I think Afobe's one of them players that plays off the shoulder of the defender. If you give him, but we're not doing it, that playing through the middle, find that cutting edge through ball, and he goes in 1-on-1, I'm more than confident of anyone else in our team if he's going 1-on-1 to finish it. People might disagree, but I think that's his sort of style of game. But we're putting crosses in the box, or when we're playing long balls, I'm like, who to? We've got 2 strikers there, Bradshaw and Afobe. I'm not confident of either of them getting on the end of a header or anything, because they're just not big enough. You got to try and go through the middle. So you've got a point there. I'd be interested to see once Fleming gets involved properly, whether he'll play in that number 10 role and start to open up those doors and through balls to play into Afobe, whether it's him, Bradshaw, we've got Vogelsama there. But I think we've just got to give that a go, because we did when we improved last season towards the back end, and then all of a sudden, a few games this season, it just seems to have stopped.
What do you think, Ken, is like, we can all see it, that the wing-backs, we're relying on wing-backs getting crosses in the box and set pieces pretty much, aren't we, to score goals? That's not working. Now, surely Rowett can see that's not working. What do you think his train of thought is when he's, we ain't getting no crosses in? Because it seems to me he does a little bit of a, and I don't want to completely knock it because we moan when he doesn't make subs, but he seems to do a little bit of a Holloway where he just fucking throws like a load of people on up front.
I don't think his thought process is how we're going to score. That's
a great shout.
Yeah, I just don't think that crosses his mind. I think the question that he asks himself is, how are we not going to concede? And then when it comes to conceding, it's panic stations. And now what do I do? I've always said this: wing-backs don't work with us, with the players that we've got. We've got wingers playing up front. You've got centre-backs playing up front. We're never going to score goals. The reason why balls go into the box, balls go into the box, and we can't put them balls through to Afobe and Bradshaw, like Joe was saying, is because we play a formation that when we're defending, we all play too deep. So we can't play through the middle anyway, because even Afobe's on the edge of our own box when we're defending.
Yeah.
So look, Gary Rowett does not know how to create opportunities, score goals. It's just not in his nature. And I'm pretty sure you ask any Stoke City, Derby, Burton Albion supporter, did you ever go through a massive stage of this creativity and great, scoring 4 or 5 goals at home and stuff like that? They're going to go, don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
See what Joe's saying there. Must be in Afobe and Malone's contract to play X amount of games. I don't believe it is. It can't be. I just think, well, has he got belief in these players, or is he just set in his ways and stubborn, or does he think that we haven't got anyone better available? Joe?
I honestly think he believes in them, because I do. I've got the belief there that Afobe, when given the chance, he'll be
Well,
good
look,
for us.
that's
As we've seen
that's
last
proven.
season.
You look at the
Scott-
goals. He scored 13 goals last season. You can't. That's as Aidan O'Brien once said to me.
Yeah,
And this is what I'm basing it on as well a lot. The stats don't lie.
Yeah,
Afobe
exactly.
scored 13 goals. Bradshaw scored 11. As much as we love Morrison and Gregory, they didn't score that amount of goals in the Championship.
yeah. And Malone's another one there. I'm going to disagree with a lot of people here. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't had the best of starts this season. But the last 2 seasons, he had our second highest most assists after Jed. So he had been doing something. But he was even getting criticism like last season. I'm like, why? I think a lot of it is unjust. Don't get me wrong. Fair a bit of it this season. But I do believe once they get going, and maybe it's just a purple patch, but once the 2 of them get going, get a few games under their belt, I reckon they'll be all right. So I think it is that Gary Rowett does believe in them, and I do myself, to be honest.
I agree with you on the Afobe one. Scott Malone gets a lot of assists in my mind because he takes the dead ball situations. And I said this on my thing yesterday. I've got the kneecaps anymore. I'm 18 stone, hopefully still. I can still whip my left foot. Don't worry about that. I can't fucking move, but I can whip the ball. And I think he gets a lot of his things, assist and praise on the back of that. He did have a really good last season. I think he scored a good goal.
He scores a couple goals as well.
Yeah, but that's sort of dried up now. Ken, what's your thought process on what Joe said?
Well, I agree with Joe partly. Weirdly enough, on the Malone situation, I agree with you. And I'll put an argument to you then. I agree with you. He's probably got the most assists in our team so far this season. And yeah, all right, some of them may be dead ball situations, but then I could turn around and say I'm pretty sure 2 or 3 of Afobe's goals were penalties last season. So I'd say definitely 2 of them. Now look, if like what you say is true, the stats don't lie. Well then, as much as Malone has a horrendous game every single game,
True.
He is setting goals up. So if we're going on stats, then you'd keep Malone on the pitch. Afobe, excuse me. Afobe, for me, I have a completely different view on it. I believe that Benik Afobe is there for Benik Afobe. Doesn't care about the club. He only.
I don't think a lot of them really do though. They're all just footballers, really.
Yeah, no, and I do get that. But I think it's all bollocks, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? When he's trying to G the crowd up and he does a little 5-minute run to try and show everybody that he cares. That's what annoys me.
He does know how to hold a crowd. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and
come on.
Yeah. I don't rate him. I don't rate him at all. I haven't rated him. I didn't rate him last season. I think he did have a very good last 5 or 6 games of the season last season, where he got the majority of his goals. We'd probably say he got about 60% of the goals that he got in the last, say, 5, 6, 7 games. Steve Lees would be able to tell us that.
Steve.
But other than that, he had a horrendous season last season. And he's had opportunities this season. He hasn't taken them. Now, I'm not turning around and saying that we have there's somebody else that could do that, but there probably is. And I think if people like Goalslammer, Fleming, Bradshaw, they all get their opportunities. Bradshaw, I'm telling you now, is sticking more goals in the back of the net than what Afobe is this season, in my opinion.
But if he gets the service,
if he stays fit.
Yeah, if he stays
fit.
Good
point that Charlie's just made is that he said we've let Jed go and we're using Danny Mack to take his place, really, and whip balls in. I get what you're saying there. We're like, we ain't replaced Jed for one. We're asking Danny Mack to now do more. It's a good point, Charlie. I really thought of that. 2, but we've also changed formation, and leading on to that, or going back one comment, Bury's better on the wing. I think the change formation is good, but I think that Tyler Bury's one of the few players that has got the confidence that every time he gets the ball, I'm going for the juggler. Every single
That's
time.
What you want.
It's what you want, but I don't really feel the new formation suits him unless you play him in the 10. Thoughts on that, boys? On McNamara asking Danny Mack to do too much now? And is that why we're noticing his crossing isn't as good? Because before he'd have the luxury of Jed there, bang, there you go, whippage,
Well, look, firstly, we're talking about Jed again, and this is the same problem we had when we had Jed, is that we weren't a team without Jed Wallace. And now we're not a team without Benik Afobe, obviously. We have to have some main character to push us through. But Danny Mack was the reason why Jed Wallace put so many balls into the box is because you ain't going to believe it. He was a winger. Right?
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you have a winger on the wing, right? A winger will provide assists. We was just lucky that Jed was a little bit more special and could score goals as well. But so yeah, now Danny Mack's got to do it all by himself because of the way it's set up.
I know what you're edging towards there is that you want us to play 4-4-2, and it's nothing to do with this podcast or Millwall actually. But I saw an interview with Joey Barton the other day, and he was chatting away, and he went, "Yeah, I like the Cowleys. Fair enough. They play 4-4-2. That's going to get you nowhere in football in this day and age." But I still think it would. I think a lot of clubs have gone so new age. I think if you give them a little bit of a wake up call, went a little bit horrible, went 4-4-2, and it could happen, but it's not going to happen. This is an interesting one. Joe Bury, he's come on leaps and bounds, man. Where do you think he best sits in our team?
Left wing, all day long. Yeah. That's where he's causing the most damage. How many times, even when he's come on as a sub, do you see him pick up the ball on the left, beat 2-3 players, and then he gets right to the byline or he's in on the 6-yard box? I can't remember the last player we've had that does that sort of thing. As soon as he gets there in a dangerous area, ball across the box, bang. But I think sometimes it's just the end product with him at the minute. Yeah, he is exciting when he comes on. Like
he's got written all over him. Like as he gets older, a bit bigger, a stronger shot. He's got Stephen Reid written all over him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know that Stephen Reid, Paul Ifill, well, they were the type of players that would get down to that line, then even take it further into the box, you know, or weren't scared to have a shot. But again, he is a winger. He's not a striker.
Yeah, all day.
So, I agree. I think the only place he could slot in, if not as a winger, is as a 10. But if you give him license to be that 10, he's not going to track back. He's not going to do any work, which I don't think he needs to. But I think in a Rowett team, he'll expect you to. And Vape says Bury has to start. For me, pace and hunger. But like, for example, okay, do we want that 10, boys? Do you like the 10 that we play?
Yeah, but I think we've got, however good or bad options, I think we got a lot of options there for a 10.
Similar,
I know he played,
haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, he played Honeyman there on Saturday. Don't think it worked as well. I would have had Honeyman a bit deeper and play Saville in the 10.
Yeah.
But no coincidence this season, I've seen Saville have a couple of blinders, right? And that's when I noticed he had been playing in that 10. He was playing a little bit higher up the pitch. Last season, we didn't see the best of him because he weren't up high enough. He was playing deeper. And when did we just see the best of him before? When we last had him, where he was playing higher up, getting into the box, scoring goals. And then all of a sudden, for whatever, they've switched it around. They put Honeyman there and Saville there, which I don't agree with. But
yeah, but this is another Rowett thing because Rowett's actually said, well, you know, Sav's played a bit further forward. That's not his game. Well, no, it is his game. We bought him in the team. He did it behind Lee Gregory and Steve Morrison, and we pressed high, and we had a fucking very good season. But he will not accept that Saville's a 10. And I agree, that could be a decent switch there, Joe, tomorrow. Or if he doesn't start, I mean, Saville in a 10.
Well, if you're looking at the way Rowett's going to look at it, if he's considering Honeyman as one of the 10 options, you've either got him, Saville, and Fleming. And personally, if I could, I'd have all three of them playing at the same time. But I just can't work out where and who you're going to put where. But I think they've all got a place in the team. So personally, for me, going back to the Bury thing, I keep Bury out as left winger. We don't need him as a number 10 when you've got other options there.
Yeah. What about like one up front, one central striker, 3 centre midfielders, and 2 wide men, and got like a 4-5-1? I don't know. Like, we don't know, and I don't think Rowett at the minute knows either.
It's early days, isn't it? We can't work out.
It is early days. The same you said there, Joe, the same I picked up in my post-match is that Vogel Sammer, and I got hammered for saying he was a unit because he is a big lump, but he's not. I think he's about the same height as me. I think he's about 5'10", 5'11".
He's got broad shoulders. And
yeah, and you got Fleming, the same sort of player. Afobe, Bradshaw. They're all quite. No, there is no Matt Smith in there. There is no Gary Medine, is there? Is there, Ken? Do you think he might have? I mean, even like you say, he bought Honeyman, he bought Fleming. And I was like, I'm hearing they're both 10s. I can't work out who plays where here. Do you think he's not divulged enough, and he's not, if that's the right word, is he not mixed it up enough with his signings? Do you think we should have got another big man in for a plan B?
We've got a lot of forward-thinking players. However, I don't think we've got many outright attackers. And secondly, I mean, for me, on the 4-4-2 that we was talking about, I've put Fleming on the right, making the Nugent, right, because he's probably got them capabilities. But going on to your thing about attacking, we need, and I know it's very hard to get, and I know it's out of the fashion of football now, but what we need is a big, horrible, strong centre forward. That when it's not working, then you can't put the ball through the middle for the Aphobes or the Bradshaws, or goal slammers not getting the type of space that he needs for this weldy that he's going to score. Then when you've got people like Bury, Malone on the left, and you've got people like, for instance, Danny Mack and Fleming on the right, then you've got some big horrible centre forward that you can pump the ball into the box. It's a different ball game, and it's a different
100%.
It's a different way of trying to create a goal. You know,
I think that's
bring back Matt Smith.
Mateo, your boy Mateo. I'm trying to find a comment where Charlie said
Tom
something.
Elliott.
Charlie said something. This is very true, and I think I don't see it with, even like I was watching all the goals the other day on all the football league goals. I'm seeing teams in League Two pop it and overlap and get in good areas and score good goals. And I'm like, why don't we do things like that? I know they're in League Two, but they're still playing at a level that's relevant to them. And you do feel like players hide when we have the ball. Other teams have 4 or 5 options. We have like 0 or 1. And you see someone run forward and they sort of stop. There's literally nothing on. So, all right, we'll come back, and then it begins. And before you know it, we're back with Bart swinging his kneecaps trying to kick the ball, aren't we?
That's a very good point, that one that you just put up. I really agree with. It seems like we don't have there's so many times where we have the ball at the back and or even in midfield, and then we end up passing it back to the defence. And then it's like there's no options, no one sort of making a run. Then we just faff about passing it around at the back. And my dad always reverts back to it. He always says the old Dennis Wise sort of style player who would put himself in space and go, give me the ball, give me the ball. We ain't got I can't remember the last time we had a sort of player in the centre of park that just runs forward at throw-ins, set pieces, even during the game, would like put themselves out there, go, give me the ball. We don't seem to have the options.
We never.
And I think that was bang on, that comment. People seem to hide, and it seems as if they don't want to, that no one wants to take ownership or responsibility.
I mean, we don't do anything through the middle of the pitch. And as we've already discussed, our productivity down the wings is not enough. Like, but again, I'm not saying that Raul is going to crack it, and he has got the answer, but he's bought players which we're all agreeing. We've all had a little bit of excitement with our transfer dealings. And Kenny, you're saying, I agree, and Joe, that we've actually got the individuals now. Can he get them playing through the middle of the pitch? Will he risk letting them play through the middle of the pitch? Because I think that plays a part. I think he's like, well, no, keep it wide, because if we do lose it, we're not massively exposed. But something's got to give. If we're going to play this 10, we've got to learn how to do it. Because at the minute, to me, we've got a 10, but we're playing like we did last season with 2 wing backs and 2 wide. We haven't got 2 wide strikers, but we did everything wide, up, back, and then eventually dink one in. And it seems to me that the formation has changed. The actual way we play hasn't.
If you're a championship manager, right? If you're a championship manager and you don't know how to play a particular formation, you shouldn't be a championship manager, right? You don't go out and buy all these players, right, to not know how to play them, right? Surely you're looking at that going, right, I'm going to start playing a 10, right? The type of 10 player that I want has got to have this quality, this quality, this quality, right? Go out and find me that, right? They've come back, they found them that player, which is, let's say, Fleming, right? Brilliant. Let's break the bank now to buy him, right? So we've done all of that. Now, Rowett, what you've got to do is you've got to do your job, and you've got to tell him how you want him to play. It's very, very simple. It's simple maths, right? It really is, right? That's how I want you to play. and that is the performances that are on the pitch right now is how Rowett wants them to play. Like it's not the players, and as I've said, you could have whoever you wanted on that pitch, but the instructions come from him, and that's why we're not scoring goals, because he's not telling them how he wants them to create goals.
Yeah, it's a couple of interesting points. I'll go to Joe in a second because me and him were talking about this off air. Fleming, like you say, to go and find me the players. Okay, Fleming, Rowett's been watching him for a while, and then he will have to say to Fleming, look, I want you to come to the club. I want to build a team around you. I want you playing that 10. I want you to distribute. However, it's just jogged my memory. When I watched the first ever interview, sorry, it's not the mic. When I watched the first ever interview with Fleming, he was like, well, my preferred position, they didn't ask him. They was like, I said, where'd you play sort of thing, excited to come to the club. He went, well, my preferred position is a 10. He said, but I can play wide if needed, and I can play up front. So that, I might be second guessing, right? Might have gone, look, you might have to play, not like, yes, we're going to build it around you in this 10. But again, Rowett's bought these players. Fleming hasn't figured, hardly, injured, since before the Stoke game, I think. So, Joe, you're with me on this one. We need, whether we like him or not, whether we think he's going to put it off or not, 6 games in is very, very early, isn't it? And the man that we supposedly broke the bank for and we're going to build it around hasn't been around. And I think he's done right easing him back in from his injury. I think he's probably ready to start tomorrow. Kenny's got a theory on how much of the ball he's going to see. We'll get onto that later. But do you think some people are a little bit premature, Joe, in their criticism that, what the fuck's going on here? 6 games in, and our main man alleged main man hasn't even kicked a ball, really.
Yeah, I think he's obviously come in with a lot of hype and expectation. Obviously started off with an injury, always seems to happen with us. And I think Rowett's just sort of trying to ease him back in. Obviously, pre-season as well, it might not be up to pace match fitness-wise, but I think it's down to the point now where I just start him tomorrow and try and make him as a vocal point. Actually, like when I've seen him come on, as much as we have seen him, I don't really. He's not the type. I don't think it's going to get stuck in and create things out of nothing. I think people have got to give him the ball and let him work his so-called magic that everyone thinks that we ain't seen yet. So, yeah, I think you just give him the ball to his feet. If he's in that number 10 position, edge of the box, going into the final third and see what he can do. But obviously, he hasn't had the opportunity to do that yet. I'm hoping we will see good things, but
he might well slot the balls in for. He might slot them balls in. We've been asking him to. I doubt it, because I doubt Rowett's going to let him see that much of the ball in the middle of the pitch. Because I think Rowett will think that's going to make us
out to the wing, sideways.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think I've at points in the past been on Rowett's bollocks, been the first one to be on his bollocks. But I think that we definitely haven't given. We always say that you've got to give someone a run of 10, 15, 20 games.
Yeah, and 100%.
He hasn't had one start yet in the Championship, and he's had a record signing. So it may not prove to be the right signing, but we've got to give him Rowett the opportunity to show us that can happen. I honestly think all this at the minute. Some people saying Rowett out. I have said that in the past. That was when always, and I ain't going to keep going about the game at Middlesbrough. 11 games without a win, stretched to 14. And with the group of players that we had that had been there a while, and the way we was playing, I couldn't see a way out. With this, I'm saying, all right, it might not well yet happen, but at least let's give it a chance. Right, we can move on now to last time out against Reading, and then after that we can really delve into the Afobe and the tactics, and we'll look at the league table going forward and our next fixtures. Christian Bastinelli, welcome. Thank you, mate, for your ongoing contributions. Good evening over there in Belgium. Right, Kenneth. I keep showing these photos. I don't remember.
I didn't see that one.
I keep sharing it on my social post because
I didn't see that photo.
I also don't know who that is. Who is that?
Shackleton, is it 16?
Oh, yeah, 1-6. Yeah. No wonder I didn't know. I didn't know he's on the pitch. Okay. Let's talk about Saturday's shit show, gentlemen. Ken, kick us off, mate.
Yeah, I think that we. I think maybe the first 10 minutes. I thought, here we go. We're going to be. I genuinely watched the first 10 minutes and thought we are having this today. we are absolutely having this. They haven't got an answer. They don't know what we're going to score within. We're going to score within the first 5-10 minutes, which is complete opposite to what we've been doing over the last few games. We look exciting, and then it just went downhill after that, didn't it? I didn't really have the ump with the goal that we conceded. I thought it was a well worked goal by them. It could have been they could have been better marked. However, it's just one of them things. And even the problem with the game for me is that I genuinely felt that we would still come back and win that game.
So did I.
Yeah, and we had nothing, did we? We had absolutely nothing. And I didn't. I've said this, and I know this is a bit of a disagreement from quite a lot of people. I was reasonably happy with the defence, and I was reasonably happy with the midfield. And I was a little bit annoyed with Afobe, but the problem is that we just had no idea. It was so evident. That's the first time I think that I've watched the game and gone, we have absolutely no fucking clue how to score a goal in. And we could have played for the rest of the month, and we still wouldn't have scored a goal.
I don't think we had. I can't remember other than the disallowed goal. I can't really remember having a proper clear-cut shot or opportunity on goal that whole game.
Danny
Max
might be
wrong.
Cross. Yeah, Danny Max deflected cross. Sorry, I'm laughing at Jack. I feel like the Juventus guy. Sorry, Jack.
I was just laughing at that. I see that.
I can't. There's so many comments going, man. I can't read them all. I'm only reading like one.
I'm getting sidetracked by some of the comments.
Yeah, there's so many going through. Sorry, that is like a private joke to the Lions TV boys. People won't understand what that's about. But, yeah, and in the first half, right at the start, Tom Bradshaw's header, their goalkeeper done well to claw it out. I just felt at times like it was a little bit. I'm with Kenny. Like the back three can't always keep a clean sheet. They can't always keep the ball out of the net, and we got pulled apart by a good set piece. We can't really complain because we score goals. We score a lot of goals from set pieces. So it can happen. Do you know what I mean? If you execute them right, it was a good flick on. Murray Wallace's man gets the other side of him on the blind side, and they go 1-0 up. But it just seemed like if you don't start a game well, after a while, you realise this ain't happening today. But we actually started well, and then for some reason, just a complete toe off. And I don't understand. I can't work out why. They get always not really. Were they a better side than Coventry? No. I mean, the ref definitely contributed to that.
Oh,
well, that's
we lost Dan of all people.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think that. I again quite conflicted. I actually thought the ref weren't that bad. I thought that he let a lot go.
Sorry, boys.
with through both teams. I think the ref let a lot go, and he tried to keep the game flowing. And actually, if you again based on instruction from the FA, that's what they've been told to do now, isn't it? Stop calling up for every single thing that's a foul. Try and make the game flow a bit more. Yeah, all right, he got some wrong, but he also got a lot wrong for Reading as well.
I just think he was buying a lot of. I remember one point right near the end, one of their guys saw Saville coming, cut across him, and then just basically fucking stopped and went, and the ref just seemed to be buying a lot of their shit, I thought.
I think the problem with that, though, is that is a foul. That's the problem, is that, you do play for them. Look at Jack Grealish, he's the best at that. Does it week in, week out.
Experience,
You do, if you're going in for a 50-50 and you manage to get in across that player, you're going to do it because the minute they make contact with you, it is a foul by laws of the game.
Joe, what did you think? Do you think Reading were that good, or do you think?
No,
I mean, let's bear in mind, Reading have won 4 games and they're top of the division.
I really can't put my finger on what happens. I really can't. But what frustrates me is, don't get me wrong, we've seen it time and time again last season. We'd have that little spell, first 5 maybe 10 minutes where, we look like we might do something. And all of a sudden it just goes. And literally the whole first half, or most of it, I don't know why we seem to start off as if most of the first half, as if we're the away team. We're withstanding like constant pressure, letting them play the ball about. And I'm watching that first half like, this is what we should be doing to them. Why is it not happening? Why are we just sitting back and allow them to dictate play like that? This is what we should be doing as a home team. And found it really frustrating, especially the first half. And then
really frustrating.
Even the second half, I just couldn't see. As Kenny said, I was of the same attitude. Like, went 1-0 down, go into half-time, people going, blah, blah, this, that, how bad we were. I went, wait till full time when we win this 3-1. How wrong I was, because there was not a chance we was putting 3 goals in that second half. I just think all-round team performance, it just didn't click. And I just think it's going to take time for a couple of these new signings to find their feet, fit in. You've got other players to come in, Vogelsama when Fleming actually starting games. They need time to adapt and gel. It's obviously just not happening at the minute, but it's early doors. I'm hoping like another 6 games in, we'll be saying different things.
Yeah, but it's bipolar Millwall, mate. It's very fucking possible. Jay Turner, mate, thanks for your donation over there in Portugal, if I'm not mistaken. If that goal would have stood, would we still be as critical? I mean, it was very fucking tight. I actually posted in the group chat and said that wasn't offside, didn't I? When even after I'd seen the replays, and then I actually about a day later when I'm going to do the post match, I watched it back and done a fucking.
Honestly, I'm kind of Sorry, I'm kind of contradicting myself here. I said I couldn't see us scoring 3 goals the way we were in that second half, but I think if that goal stood, they give it, we would have gone on to win that game. Fans would have been up for it, got right behind the team, would have pushed on. And...
You see, I'm a flip reverse here, Dan. I probably would have been even more critical if that goal had gone in. I'll tell you why, because it's come off his thigh. It's a lucky goal. And again, it just shows papering over the cracks, because what would have happened is 75% of, if it finished 1-1, 75% of Millwall fans would have come out of there because we got a draw and it was all right and we had something to cheer about. And so, again, in my opinion, we get away with it like we did against Swansea, like we did against Coventry, and then it would have been Reading, we got away with it as well. I don't want us to lose games, and I don't want to continue to spend my money to watch this shit show that we watch. But, in my opinion, the quicker he gets found out, the better.
No, Sam. I actually got to that stage at the point during COVID. I actually got to the point where I was like, I obviously don't want us to lose games, but if we do, it ain't the end of the world, because then we can start moving on again. But listen, you said nothing to cheer about. There's always something to cheer about when Walter Sampaio is in the group chat. Good evening, mate. Walter, everyone loves Walter. Not everyone loves Raymond. What are you just saying there, Ken, about this shit show? And I've titled this video, what did you all expect? I'm with Joe. I don't actually think at the minute it's the end of the world. We had a very good performance against Stoke. We then went away to Sheffield United and got beaten by a side that will be in and around the top 6. We done a brilliant comeback against Coventry and showed some real grit and determination. Had one of the best comebacks I think we've ever seen at the Den in front of a full house. Showed real character. Then we went away to Swansea and we done the same again. In the space of 4 days, it was fucking trending. It was everywhere. You know, Millwall fucking done it again. They've come back from the dead. Norwich was to be expected, in my opinion. And me and Kenny actually did a podcast on our own. He predicted we'd have 8 points at this point, and I said 6. I think we actually had 7, didn't we? So we're not hardly anywhere away from what I was expecting us to be at this point. I mean, let me know in the comments, what was you actually expecting us to be at this stage? 6 games in, I would have been more than happy with played 2, 1, 2, lost 2. Joe, do you think?
3 words.
Go on in.
3-year plan.
Yeah, but that's true. It's 4.5 year plan.
Yeah, right. So that the big question really is, and I'd love people to tell me this in the comments, what is the difference right now from 3 years ago?
Well, we've got the players. You said that yourself. We've got
the players. Yeah, but what's the difference? Style of play, results, awful decisions, not knowing our starting lineup.
Panic substitutions.
Yeah, panic substitutions. Jake Cooper's still playing up front when we need a goal. Right?
We've actually done that the weekend, don't we?
Yeah, nothing has changed from 3 years ago, right? And he, in my opinion, and I don't want to make it the Gary Rowett out show. You know how I feel about it. But,
we've had enough of them.
yeah. But in my opinion, the last 2 seasons was Rowett's opportunity to get us up into that top 6. Not saying we would have won the playoffs, but that was his best opportunity. There is no chance in this world. Listen, I'll bet any of you any type of money right now. There's no chance we will be anywhere near the top 6 this season.
But we weren't far off last season. There was an improvement, and we've recruited well. So I'm gonna say, and I think Joe will agree. Let me know, Joe. Do you think it's a bit premature? Everyone's saying, "What the fuck is going on here?" When we're 6 games in, and it's
I think some of the stuff I was hearing on Saturday, I was like, it's too premature. It's too early to call. It really is. It's 6 games in. But you look at the league; everyone's beating everyone at the minute. Like obviously, Reading Saturday, they got beaten by Rotherham 4-0, and then they went and beat Blackburn 3-0. It's tough to call. I don't think you can really start saying things for about the 15 game mark. I'd say give it another month, and then you can start to sort of see where we're going, what Rowett's trying to do, maybe an idea of our best starting 11. Because right now it's anyone's guess when that starting lineup comes out who's going to be where. But
I know what Kenny's saying. Kenny's saying it don't matter who we play, and the outcome's going to be the same. He's going to play the same negative football.
Yeah. Do you know what Kenny said there about what has changed in the 3 years? As much I want to try and find an argument against me, I'm laughing to myself. So I'm thinking, I can see what he's saying. Like, I'm kind of agree.
I agree with both.
You've done this last time we was on the podcast where you was like,
yeah.
I don't know, actually, you're right.
I agree with both of you, right? I understand where you're both coming from. One, I think it's premature. We're 6 games in. As I said in the comments, let us know, where was you actually expecting? If you're not happy right here, right now, where was you expecting us to be? However, what Kenny's saying is, it's not the here and now that is the issue. It's what's been and gone. And despite us having new players, we're still playing exactly the fucking same way, and the problems are still the same. That's what you're saying, Kenny. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying if you changed it, you haven't got to recruit anymore, really, in my opinion. Apart from
just
maybe
throw a pair of bollocks and start attacking.
Exactly. And do you know what? if we played, let's say, use the Cardiff game as a good example, because I reckon we're going to get proper turnover tomorrow, in my opinion.
Well,
I think we play Cardiff at home, and we don't play attacking football, right? And we get beat again. What argument are you lot going to have other than, well, let's wait till the 15-minute mark, because it will turn round, right? And Rowett will have a little 3-4 game period where he'll play the way that I say that we should play to be more attacking. I'll turn around and say, well done, Rowett, for your tactics. You two will turn around and go, told you that it shouldn't be Rowett out. And then he'll go back to his normal boring tactics again. And then I'll be the arsehole because I'm still sat here going Rowett out.
We were saying is he'll get the points he needs to get, and then he'll go back in his shell.
This is exactly what he does.
So why, if he can get them points coming out of his shell, which I think you're right, and I think we have proved that in the past. We've proved it this season. 2-0 down, hang on, we're going to score 3. 2-0 down, we'll claw it back to 2-2. So if he knows it works for us and he's got his own players now, why does he not start the game like this? Why does he? No one can enjoy that as a player or a manager. And I know it happens at our club. Boys, stay away from the ball. Keep our shape defensive. I know what goes on.
I think I
know what goes on in training. So how is that enjoyable? And if he knows he's confident now he's got his own players to go forward, why would you not want to go forward and try and win football matches?
I honestly, like I said, I think he's a numbers man. Where he's very statistical, etc. And as you say, stats don't lie.
Wants to protect himself.
Yeah, let's get to that point where we're not going to go down. Because it happened last season. When we got to a point where we forget about getting in the top 6 because he didn't care about that. Right? We got to a point where we weren't going to go down. Right? Then we started playing more attacking football. Then Afobe started scoring more goals. Right? And then we had this push for the top 6. Right? Which was never going to happen. Right? But obviously we all, as Millwall fans, we all like, bloody hell, we're going to Premier League, we're going to be in the World Cup. You know, like, yeah, I'm getting wound up about it, but like, he's a numbers man. We will never ever get out of this league with Gary Rowett as a manager. Period.
Do you think we will get out of this league with anyone? Do you think it's capable of doing that, boys?
I think we're just destined to be here forever. I think we're one of them. I said it. I put it in the group. What game was it? A couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I think we're just destined to forever be like just mediocre, like mid-table class. And we could have anyone in our team, but we're just always just going to stay the same.
That's because you've been watching Rowett for so long.
Yeah, that's you just said about. I think one of my major frustrations with it is we never seem to start off on the front foot. It's like it's as if Rowett sets up to go. All right, boys, go into half. Even playing at home, get to half time 0-0, and then we'll go for it in a second. Or wait till we go 1-0, 2-0 down, and then we'll start playing. Like, why not just go at it from the off, which we don't seem to do.
It's when he has to.
Yeah, yeah.
Or actually, that's wrong as well. Gary Rowett takes risks when he needs to. Because if you're not gonna, if it's 0-0. Gary Rowett's perfectly fine with a 0-0. In fact, he probably thinks that's a complete and utter defensive spectacle. And he'll go home excited, won't be able to sleep because it was a 0-0 and, you know, it was out of this world. I know it sounds horrible, but I'll come on every week on this podcast and nothing changes. Nothing changes when it comes to Millwall. It's the same.
Why is he happy? Do you think he's like... I think he's a little bit like Alex Neil just got the job at Stoke. I think he's a little bit of a stabiliser, a little bit of a stopgap. Does Rowett think? I mean, what's his end goal, Rowett? What do you think Rowett's end goal is as a manager? To get the most 0-0s ever in history.
Honestly, I can't give you the answer. The same as you don't know what his starting lineup is. You don't know what he's doing in training. You know,
remember there's that classic photo that floats about the Jaws thing, and it's got Rowett's face just as Jaws.
Oh dear, right. Let's get off the Rowett bashing. Look, Tom said the fact that not one of our strikers has scored a single goal in 630 minutes of football should be our biggest concern. Yeah, for me, you know, we'll get back to it briefly. We've been on a while, boys. You're right to carry on, yeah?
Yeah.
Didn't realise that was fucking hour and 7 minutes in. I don't think that, to me, that the defence, I'd say I had no real issues with the defence Saturday. The other teams are going to get opportunities. And going forward, the strikers were not to blame Saturday because they get zero opportunities to score. For me, we've got to try and find ways to unlock a door. Getting on to tomorrow, Phil Gibson, Burnley fan in peace. I'll be up there tomorrow, mate. What do you think of tomorrow's game? We're going to get on to that next. Jay Sullivan, sorry. He's saying play Zion and Vokes, Rowett. Now, if he does play Fleming and Cockslammer, whatever everyone wants to call him, that's not. So we're not going to go to Burnley tomorrow and win 3-0. It's going to take time, isn't it? It's going to take time for that to click in. Boys, what would you do tomorrow?
I think it's a perfect opportunity to do everything that the fans have said to try and prove himself right. I think he will drop Afobe. I think that Fleming will start. I think Goldslammer will start. And I think it will be a perfect opportunity to turn around and go, that's why I start Afobe, and that's why I do what I do, because look, we've just lost to Burnley. When in reality, it's a very, very tough place to go to on a Tuesday night. We're probably more than likely not going to get anything out of the game. I could tell you exactly how I'd play. Like I said, I'd go 4-4-2 and give it a go. Flat 4-4-2. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. But
Joe, what would you
Don't
do?
Burnley play a 4-4-2? I think
They did under Dyche. I don't know if they do now.
Oh yeah. What I said in my pre-match prediction, it would be typical Millwall fashion. After the way we played Saturday, everyone's getting on the players' back a bit, and I'm just naturally a positive thinker, so I've just got this feeling we're going to somehow come away and scrape a 1-0 win. But lineup wise, I think I'd revert back to the sort of three up top with your out and out wingers. I'd have Bury one side and maybe try Fleming out wide. And then if I was manager, I'd have Saville in the number 10. And I can't quite make my mind up right because I thought a lot of the stick Afobe got Saturday was sort of unjust because we're not creating the opportunity. So I'm thinking, would I stick with Afobe, hoping that the likes of Fleming and Saville playing higher up, and then you've got Bury will create chances for him? In my head, I'm also contemplating thinking, giving that Vogelshammer a go in that position. So I just don't know, but that's the sort of thing I'd go for. The one centre forward and the two out wide gives the wing backs a bit more cover then as well.
I think that potentially is what he could go with tomorrow. And I think we're going to play a lot of we will play a lot of the game without the ball. We're not going to go for the jugular. That's for fucking sure. Right? So I think he'll make it as compact as possible. This is the team. I put this on my preview show. This isn't the team that I would pick, by the way. I know sometimes people go, "Oh, well, you'd pick this instead of that one." No, this is the team I think he'll go with tomorrow. Right? Can I just repeat? This is not the team that I would go with, but I think that's the team he may well go with tomorrow. Or he'll,
don't actually think that's too bad.
No, it's not too bad. Or he'll play a Afobe central, Fleming wide, drop Vogelshammer out, and put Bury and have the two wide strikers. Do you know what I mean?
I think them two wide strikers is for me is pointless. I think you're wasting two players because you're only then effectively still playing with one central striker.
You get you do get the best out of Bury, I think, in that formation. Not that one, not green, the other one.
Because he's on the wing.
Exactly that. But
I think you see when we played the 4-4-2 though with Bradshaw and Afobe up top, we've done it Saturday and we just create nothing. My argument is if you've got those two wide players there, you're more likely to get in behind them and get that killer ball across the goal where we got the 2 goals against Swansea.
I think the problem is you see a lot of teams that are quite comfortable, running down the line and putting in a decent cross. We're putting in crosses from just inside their arm most of the time, right? And look, you can go back to when it was Fred and Romeo and Jed Wallace. When you had a right winger and a right back, that's when that overlap works so well, and you've still got 2 strikers in the box. And normally you've got like a Matt Smith, and then or let's use Steve Morrison. You've then got a Steve Morrison and a Gregory, which can.
Yeah, I get that. To be fair, I see what you're saying. Where you go with the proper 4-4-2, because obviously Saturday wasn't. We're playing this whole 3 in the middle and expecting the wing backs on their own to do all the work.
Yeah, and when they lose, which they can do. Then all of a sudden, all right, say for instance, people like Billy Mitchell or Shackleton, they're going to drop back a little bit to help support. But then you start making mistakes like Creswell did. Creswell presuming that his right back was next to him. But he's not. He's all the way down there with no backup. If we had a right winger and a right back, that would never have happened. The right winger would have been forward and Danny Mack would have still been in his position.
Yeah.
Well, Mick Robinson, thanks, mate, for your kind donation to the channel. I don't know if I've said, but super chats are open. You can donate to the channel if you wish. If you don't, not a drama. Please subscribe. We're about 30 subscribers away from 80,500. All the shit's at the bottom of the screen. You might want to become a Patreon. Probably don't bother with Patreon. If you want to become a member of the channel, you'll get weekly wallpapers for your phone. You'll get previews a day early. Lions Lounge lockdown 7 days early. And monthly giveaways. This month's giveaway is predict the correct score against Norwich and then against Reading. It rolled over to Reading, and you win £50 from me to spend in a club shop. No one's got it right. So that will roll over again one last time for Burnley tomorrow, final game of the month. And if no one wins it, I'll pick someone at random. So you can become a member by clicking the join icon on our YouTube home screen. I just, as you boys are talking, it's what I love because they hear loads from me all the time. So this is good. I like it. But I was just reading some comments and look, just very conflicting. A lot of them look, just so showing again, lots of different opinion. I was expecting mid-table due to route. We have the players to get into the playoff. I expected Rout to have a better grasp of tactics. And then our mate Jimmy Crack says he won't get sacked this year, whatever happens. And then Gary Bartholomew says, if we don't win against Burnley and Cardiff, he'll be gone. I think he's got. I think who said no chance? I think he's got a pass.
I don't think so.
He's got an absolute pass. I don't know what he's doing. He's had a pass for 3 years, and then he's been given another contract. Look, I'm all for. Like, I really do want to back them. Like, that's the problem. I really do, and I do really want to see us play well. And I'm, I did in one game turn around and go, I hold my hands up on this one. He's done well.
Hold my hands up. I said that. I'm sorry.
Always
reverts back.
Well done. Well done, Rowett, on your tactics. But it's you could not have picked 4 other away games to start. So you really tried.
For me as well. There's a bit of calm amongst the storm. David Roos, you couldn't have picked 4 harder away games to start the season if you tried. There is no easy games in this division, but
yeah,
I honestly think it's all a little bit premature at the minute.
Mm.
And then Oliver says as well, Harris says there's no pressure on him. That's what you're saying, Ken, isn't it? Really, there's no.
There's got to be. Look, let me tell you something. I'm pretty sure probably a good 60% of Millwall fans are Rowett out. And I don't know about you. From what I hear in the pub before a game, what I hear in the ground at half time, and as we're leaving, I hear a lot of people not happy. And I think, that other 40% of fans, it's only really going to go one way. I think they will start turning. At Burnley, you can excuse, like that guy said on the message just a minute ago. Going to Norwich, we lost. Yeah, got no qualms with that. That's the way it is. Go to Burnley and we lose. Yeah, all right, got no qualms with that. But then when we play Cardiff on Saturday and sit back like a bunch of melons and don't create any opportunities, don't look exciting, when there's 15,000 Millwall fans that have spent their money, made a massive noise to get behind the boys.
I think it's been entertaining this year. I will say that. You can't say, the Reading game aside, and as Richard Jarrett says, it's in Millwall's soul to be mid-table championship.
That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Yeah. Do we... I don't think... Look, I think we've got good new players. But if I'm honest, I think where we are now is... I did predict 12th to 15th this season.
Yeah, it's not going to turn us into absolute world beaters overnight, is it? We're not expecting top 2, guaranteed playoffs. We may be there or thereabouts. We're not expecting miracles.
I've just read about me being so negative. Have you watched Millwall play recently? Come on. I'm not negative. I'm negative on what I see. Right, I'm the first person to want Millwall to win, and like I say, I spend my hard-earned money to go and watch them home and away. Right, but if you honestly believe that we sacked Rowett, we'd get relegated, then you're delusional. Secondly, this is the problem with We're Not Man City, because you have a small club mentality, right? You think that Millwall are not good enough to get in the top 6, right? That's a you problem, not me.
True. I like that team. It's Stephen Ball's up. Bart, flat back 4, McNamara, Hutchinson, Cooper Wallace, Mitchell, Saville, Honeyman, Afobe, Brayshaw, Fleming. It's quite narrow, but I think that's what I sometimes think about, right? For as defensive as he likes to be, I know that's on paper more attacking formation, but it's very solid down the middle, isn't it? And very structured. Yeah. Burnley play 4-3-3 apparently. We definitely won't match them with that tomorrow. We definitely will play 5 at the back. Boys, let's look at the current league table. Because, look, we win tomorrow, we replace Burnley in 6th place. Other results pending, of course. But is it that bad? Played 6, we've won 2, we've drawn 1, we've lost 3. We've lost to the top of the league and to 2 parachute clubs.
No, Dennis, no, it's not that. It's not that bad. It's my thing is the outcome. What I think is going to happen over the next 2-3 months. Yeah. That's my big problem. Like I say, I haven't got any qualms with losing games to better teams. Don't have a problem with that. But surely people have looked at that Swansea game and realised that we did only get a point due to 2 own goals. And
yeah, but you can only stick the ball in the box.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
If their defender hadn't stuck the ball in there, who's to say that?
One of our players would have got on the end of them if they didn't.
Well, yeah, quite possibly. But you know, I'm just going on. In my opinion, like I say, it was papering over the cracks. In my opinion, and I would love us to do well. I just want to clear that up. I'd love us to do well.
Of course you would. That's why you're passionate about it. That's why you want change, because you want better things for us. And I've always said this, a lot of Millwall fans, and some respect to those Millwall fans and fair play to them. They'll back whatever they're getting served regardless because they're loyal. But I want more than that. But I don't think budget-wise we're capable of that. I don't think with the players we got, yes, we've recruited well for us, but I don't think our team's good enough to get promoted, Joe.
Nah, not. If anyway, you'd be looking at playoffs. No way, sort of top 2. But again, I keep saying it. It's early doors. Literally anything could happen. Like sometimes you get surprise packages that just sort of bomb on second half of the season, and teams just come out of nowhere. What's to say that ain't going to be us? I'm not saying it is, but I don't know. I think everyone's getting a bit carried away, or we get carried away naturally at times, but especially what was hearing on Saturday, people going over the top. I don't think the whole row it in, row it out is even under debate right now. Like we finished the season off strongly, and people are talking about it now, and I see in the comments, row it out or keep writing. I don't think it's even worth debating right now about saying what we're going to do, what we're expecting. It's far too early to be making any sort of rash judgments and going over the top about things.
I get that 100%, but my opinion is that it's 4.5 years too late.
Yeah.
Playoffs this season, Kenny. We'll finish in the playoffs.
Yeah, 3 of our 4 defeats have been to teams in the top 4.
I don't think we can have major complaints, in all honesty. Don't get me wrong, the performance Saturday, I'd complain about that a bit, but
I think that dragged people down a lot. I think that's added to a lot of people. Right, so we say that when we're sitting here in a couple of weeks' time, not that one, sorry, and we played these 5 games, our next 5 fixtures, Burnley away, Cardiff at home, the return of Steve Morris and the Marlon Roma, you just know Morrow's going to do a job on us. Sunderland away will be difficult. QPR at home in midweek, London Derby, and Blackpool at home. So we're at home for 3 of our next 5 and 2 long-arse away trips. Boys, where do you see us in 5 games?
10th.
10th. What do you see us getting out of these points-wise? 15 points.
Honest opinion?
Yeah, honest.
From me? My honest opinion is do not have a clue. I couldn't tell you. Because you know what? I think the Championship is one of the most unpredictable leagues in the world. Like,
very true.
I think especially this early on, everyone's beating everyone. Like, I would not be surprised at either of them games if we won them or lost them. Honestly, I might as well say I really cannot predict it at this moment in time. I'm not even going to try to.
Ken?
I'm going to say, I got this right last time, didn't I, Neron? I'm going to go with, we're going to get 4 points out of them games.
4 points in 5 games?
Yeah, I think we'll lose to Burnley. I think we'll draw with Cardiff because we'll have to on the basis that we've lost to Burnley. I think we'll lose to Sunderland. I think we'll lose to QPR, and I think we'll beat Blackpool.
Cool. So
I'll throw one out there, Dan, if you want me to. I'll say we'll get 7 points.
We'll look, what we'll do is, Joe, we'll look back on this, right? So out of 15 points there, Kenny's saying 4, yeah?
Yeah.
And we'll recap on this in our next podcast.
Yeah. I'm like I say, lose to Burnley, lose to Sunderland. QPR are playing really well, really good attacking football, which I don't think we'll be able to cope with.
So you're going for 4 points from 15.
4 points from 15.
That'll put us near the fucking bottom, I would imagine. Joe, go on.
I'm going to say 7 points. Again, I couldn't tell you where we're going to get the points, but I'm going to say out of them games, I think we'll get 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses.
So 7 for Joe out of 15, which, again, as a Millwall fan, I think that's acceptable. Half your points.
Yeah.
Kenny's below average. I'm going to say...
Not the first time I've been told that.
I've already said it. We're going to beat Burnley, so that's 3. We'll get no more than a point against Cardiff. I'll go with a point.
We always love a point against Cardiff, don't we?
Yeah, we do have a lot of 1-1s. Tim Carroll made his return, didn't he, against Cardiff in a 1-1 draw? Lee Gregory scored. He's on the box. That was my youngest boy's first game. So I'm going for 4 from the first 2. Defeat at Sunderland. Draw against QPR. 5. Draw against Blackpool. So we got 4, 6, and 7, yeah?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you're saying about those next 5 games. 4 points for Kenny from a possible 15, 6 from me, and 7 from Joe. So it's even with Joe being the most positive, it's not the most positive group, is it? AB 4, Ashley Hoffman 4, Christian Bastelli 7, Gary Bartholomew's got 8. 8 for Johnny. Metal God Charlie's gone for 1 point. Well, if
I think it's all the attitude from the last game. If we won on Saturday, we'd be saying more.
Charlie said 1 point, and I'm going to them all.
You're going to all. Oh, he is going to them all as well. He's going tomorrow. He's fucking. Well, that just proves he's mad, then, doesn't it? Dave 7, 5. Yeah, some people saying 5.
Romeo's going to be banging in crosses for fun.
You know that he's got to be on top form. He's going to raise his game, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's up against Scott Malone.
Oh, fucking hell. It's like
not good reading.
Watching pub football with them two. So look again. 7 points is what a lot of people were saying, and I would say that's acceptable as a Millwall fan.
I would say that 7 points is completely acceptable.
Yeah.
I just don't think we're going to get them.
We shall soon see, boys. We shall soon see. Right. We're Liam Fisher 8, Charles Stowevy 6, Mark Hines 8.
I was just going to say, notice no one's saying more than 8, and then a 10 just coming.
We'll beat QPR, says Lewis Miller. Right. All right, boys. Well, listen, I've enjoyed that. It's been an hour and a half of your time. I won't keep you any longer. It's 9:30 at night. I know you've both been, well, Joe's probably just been on a flight earlier, but Kenny's been at work today. And I've been working all day doing socials and graphics and videos. So I've got to meet tomorrow, boys, 10 a.m. at Dartford for the long journey up to Lancashire. David Turner says, Romeo won't play. Will he get Millwall?
Millwall flu.
Yeah, we'll get the Millwall flu. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, there you go, boys. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Joe, Kenny, thanks for joining us. I enjoyed that. It flew by, didn't it?
Good. Brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, nice one, boys. Well, do we do it again Monday or do we wait a couple of weeks? I don't know. I don't mind doing it again Monday. I just think, no, it's not sad, is it? What am I talking about? What's tomorrow? Tuesday? No, so we may do it again after the weekend, yeah?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, after Burnley and Cardiff, we'll do it again. There's no midweek game next week. QPR at home is the week after. So there you go. Terry Choke, no worries, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Right. Nice one, boys. Thanks, everyone. Please subscribe to Lions TV.
Come on, you Lions.
Come on, you Lions.